We're 3 episodes into the Ahsoka show, and I feel the character of Ahsoka has been overshadowed by the character Sabine, which has been a complete disaster. In the first 3 episodes, Dave Filoni has been pushing hard to develop Sabine as Ahsoka's Padawan. There are many issues with this that I'm going to get to. Sometime after the end of Rebels and before the Ahsoka show, Ahsoka decided it was a good idea to train Sabine Wren in the ways of the Force, taking her on as a Padawan. Ahsoka is famously no Jedi, but she takes Sabine in as her Padawan. How does that make sense? I don't know, ask Dave Filoni. During this time, it doesn't go well, and Ahsoka ends the training. We don't know how long the training lasted. It's anywhere from a few months to a few years. This was an odd direction to take. There was very little interaction between Ahsoka and Sabine in Rebels. There was no hint at Force sensitivity for Sabine in Rebels, and it's confirmed in the Ahsoka show that Sabine lacks potential. The droid Huang said her potential is the lowest he's ever seen, and Sabine would not have been accepted into the Jedi Order. It's not clear if Ahsoka already knew this or is hearing it for the first time. If she knew she had no potential, why bother to train her? If she was unaware of her potential, what incentivized her to want to train Sabine? It's really bad writing. It's something the Filoni faithful aren't really thinking about. They probably wouldn't care if you told them. Dave Filoni is just great. I have more questions about the first go-around with Ahsoka and Sabine. In episode 3 of Ahsoka, Ahsoka's training Sabine, but what really stands out is really dumb. Ahsoka instructs Sabine to try to use the Force to move a cup. This is clearly the first time Ahsoka has instructed Sabine to try to move an object with the Force. Considering they trained together for months, maybe years, I'm wondering why this is the first time some basic training exercises is being brought up. Why is this happening now for the first time? What kind of training were they doing previously? Maybe it was just combat training. They didn't talk about the Force. But then why are you training Sabine in the ways of the Force and not teaching her about the Force? Why are you taking her in to be your Padawan, but you claim yourself you're no Jedi? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't perfecting your control of the Force more essential to being a Jedi than your skills with the lightsaber? Ahsoka's some smartass who thinks she's rewriting the system when there's already been centuries of proven ways to train younglings and Padawans to become the level of a Jedi Knight. This master and apprenticeship ended. What was it about Sabine that got Ahsoka so mad and frustrated that she decided to ditch her? I assume Sabine was being stubborn about things, but specifically, what was she being so stubborn about? Maybe she was upset about Ahsoka's subpar training methods. There's so many things about their history, details that are lacking. When you break down this previous relationship and start asking questions, it doesn't make any sense. But try telling that to the Filoni faithful. They've probably clicked off the video by now. #triggered. The next major point I want to make is Sabines Potential. There is a lot of fake news going on out there. People are twisting words from George Lucas himself in order to mansplain Sabine's ability to use the Force. Everyone is saying, we all have midichlorians. We all are Force sensitive, which is true, but it is being highly exaggerated. This is from the Star Wars Archives by Paul Duncan. George Lucas said, "The personal Force is the energy field created by our cells interacting and doing things while we are alive. When we die, we lose our persona and our energy is assimilated into the cosmic force. If we have enough midichlorians in our body, we can have a certain amount of control over our personal Force and learn how to use it, like the Buddhist practice of being able to walk on hot coals. The Jedi will train you to connect to your personal Force and then to connect to the cosmic force. You don't have to have much power to control the cosmic force, but you can make use of it." Again, Sabine has a very low midichlorian count. According to George, if you have enough midichlorians in your body, you can have control over the Force. The Jedi, for centuries, only bothered to train kids with midichlorian counts above a certain level. Potential matters. Yes, someone with a lower midichlorian count can work hard and achieve more, but being a Jedi is exclusive to only the ones with enough initial potential. A good example is a basketball player in the NBA. Everyone has the ability to play basketball. Some have even more ability to play it well. But then there are some that are born with much more potential. They grow up to be 6'3", super athletic. For the average person, it doesn't matter how hard you work at being good at basketball. You will never be able to match their skills at the game and never belong on the same court as them. It's because some people have more potential / midichlorians. It's genetic. It's why you or a friend of yours got cut from the 7th grade basketball tryouts. The coach, the Grandmaster of the Jedi Order, didn't think your midichlorian count was high enough. You may have worked really hard on your game since then. You might be pretty good, but compared to the best in the world in the NBA, you're terrible. Developing your skills would be a waste of time for the Jedi Order. The Jedi had a system in place. Was it perfect? Could they have been wrong with some people? That takes us to the next point I want to make. Ahsoka is a bit rebellious. She must be smarter than everyone that's ever existed in the Jedi Order because she sees something in Sabine. Ahsoka must think she can make this work. Now, some of you might be saying, Dr. Melvin, the Jedi system wasn't perfect. Sabine could be an outlier. Maybe Ahsoka is onto something. Everyone can use the Force. Sabine might just have to really work at it. How much training are we talking about? Someone with as much potential as Anakin, training for years to be a Jedi, and he still didn't know everything. But that's what people are saying now. And it's not just Anakin, it's everyone else in the Jedi Order. They're trained from childhood to adults. And they're still constantly learning, still getting better. Take a look at what people are saying now. Sabine is capable of using the Force. She just has to train, baby. She'll put in the time and do some hard work. Is she at the Jedi Temple? Is she going through the same training regimen as all the younglings and Padawans in the previous Jedi Order? No, she's just got Ahsoka teaching her. And this is way different from a fast-track course of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi with Luke Skywalker. Ahsoka didn't even complete her training. She's not a Grandmaster. She's not as wise as Obi-Wan Kenobi. She's not communicating with Qui-Gon. She's just Anakin's non-canon apprentice that quit on the Jedi Order. She never completed her training. So the people on Twitter are saying Sabine just has to put in the work. Personally, I think that's completely wrong. Sabine, based on everything we know in Star Wars, what Huyang said, and what George Lucas said, she has the Force inside her, but she has no potential to be a Jedi. Some may still just flat out refuse that. Let's entertain this concept with the shills and the Filoni faithful. Sabine can be a Jedi with training. Okay. Her first time as a Padawan failed. She didn't learn anything about the Force then. She obviously hasn't been practicing anything, just laying around jacking it. She just learned a little bit about the Force in episode 3 of Ahsoka, and she failed to move a cup. We have 5 episodes left of season 1 of the Ahsoka show. What do you honestly think Sabine is going to be doing in the next 5 episodes? You say she needs training to be a Jedi. They're in the middle of a quest to find Thrawn. There isn't going to be any training. The first 3 episodes heavily focused on Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship as master and apprentice. Sabine has already taken a loss in lightsaber combat to Shin. It very much seems like a rematch is being set up, which is confirmed by the trailer. Sabine and Shin will fight again. Do you really think Sabine is not going to avenge that loss? Whether it's the next time or a 3rd matchup in the show, at some point, Sabine's Force powers are going to turn on. It's going to be just like Rey in The Force Awakens. The Disney Force is just going to awaken. She's going to slice and dice.
You have no power.
Shin says you have no power. It could happen right here, just like Rey. And if you thought that duel in The Force Awakens was stupid, Dave Filoni loved it.
She took that lightsaber and was like, I'm gonna take you out. And she did. And I'm all for it. And she looks strong.
Dave Filoni clearly doesn't care about Jedi training and the lore. He loved Rey's abilities, pulling the Disney Force out of her ass, and he's currently setting up Sabine to be a powerful Jedi. But let's go back to what the shills and Filoni faithful are saying about Sabine. She just needs to train hard. People like Anakin had it easy. They had so much potential. What are these people going to say when Sabine turns on the Disney Force and starts cutting down Filoni Dark Jedi? I'm predicting right now Sabine will take out 2 of the 3 Filoni Dark Jedi in this show. She will do this all with an extremely low midichlorian count and no training at all. But that doesn't matter in Disney Star Wars. That doesn't matter in Dave Filoni's Star Wars. Let's recap. The Ahsoka and Sabine failed Master and Apprenticeship before the events of the Ahsoka show was terrible writing. We all have midichlorians. We all have the Force. But George Lucas said you need to have a certain number of them to be able to use the Force at a Jedi level. The Jedi Order had ways of measuring this potential, and Sabine would have never been accepted. The Filoni faithful think her lack of potential is okay if it's made up for with hard work and training. But clearly Sabine is not going to be training hard anytime soon. The story is being set up for her to become powerful in the Force with very little effort. Just like Rey Skywalker. With all that being said, how does one continue to defend the show? Sabine is literally going to pull a Rey and watch the shills and Filoni faithful gargle Sabine's balls. The Ahsoka show is terrible. Dave Filoni is complete trash. Any YouTuber defending this show is a disgrace to George Lucas. I'm growing stronger in the dark side every day, but I need more Knights. Become a Knight, subscribe to the channel, join the Knights of Melvin Discord, help plot to take down Disney and all their shills.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.